Join me for part 2 exclusive interview with Bruce Lee historian and collector Perry Lee as we discuss and show more of Perry Lee's incredible and amazing Bruce Lee collection, how he met Bruce Lee's family members including Linda and Shannon Lee, as well as all Bruce Lee's first generation students, and much, much more. Enjoy the exclusive interview with Bruce Lee historian and largest Bruce Lee collector in the world, Perry Lee.
Yeah, Ruby was way ahead of her time. She was one of the first female Chinese operators to own a restaurant, and she operated that restaurant outside of Chinatown, and she appealed mostly to the celebrities and politicians, and she found a way of, finding a way of getting them to come to the restaurant by putting out, beautiful design, business cards, stationaries, matchbooks.
Wow. So she had a big influence on Bruce later on. Yeah, people don't realize that connection. When you see all his beautiful business cards later on, the membership cards, all that was inspired by working at Ruby Chow's, which was here in Seattle, right?
Yeah, that's where Bruce got his inspiration from. A lot of people look at some of the stuff Bruce Lee created and then wonder, where did he come up with that idea? Well, he came up with the idea from working at Ruby Chow and seeing the stuff that Ruby Chow produced.
Wow. Now you also have unbelievable, I was floored when I saw photos of the business cards that you have on Bruce Lee. I didn't even know that there was that many that he made different business cards, because they're beautiful, with the logo on them and, his signature, and, he just made them look so beautiful. How many in total were there?
I have the complete set of 18 business cards.
All 18?
All 18 of them. I kind of wonder why Bruce Lee made so many variations. But for some reason, he enjoyed creating all these different designs and business cards to promote his school and promote himself.
Wow. Now you have a lot of these things that over the years you've displayed in museums, right? Because some of them are not even at your home anymore.
No.
Right?
No.
So what are some of the museums that you have your things displayed in now?
The Hong Kong Heritage Museum, the San Francisco Museum, and of course the Wing Luke Museum.
Here in Seattle. Mm-hmm. Wow. And so that's where a lot of your hand-selected items and your rare items and personal items are housed. So if people wanted to see a portion of the Perry Lee collection, yours are being preserved now at these beautiful museums around the world.
Right. Curators come and they decide what they want to put in the museums. And I go over with them and ask them, what do you want? And they decide what they want. That's why I still have a lot of stuff here.
Yeah.
They don't take everything. They just cherry pick what they think is visually that's attractive to people that might come to the museum to look at.
And how long do they stay in these museums?
Usually about 5 years.
Well, that long?
Yeah, usually about 5 years.
So you part with your items for 5 years before you get to see them personally again.
And the minute they give it back to me, then some other museum wants to
borrow them.
Yeah.
Wow. So what are some of the other items you have let's say in the Wing Luke Museum? I was there last year, and what did they focus on that museum?
Well, they rotated a lot of my stuff through there.
Oh, okay.
Sometimes you might go into the museum, there isn't that much stuff, only because they rotated out, and there isn't really enough new stuff to put in a museum. Bruce Lee's body of work was only 32 years.
Yeah.
He didn't have that much stuff.
Got you.
To maintain a museum, and where they can move the exhibit and change it from year to year. The Hong Kong Heritage Museum is having a hard time coming with anything new.
Well, did they ever come to your home and see what you had here? Because,
yes.
I was floored when I saw this. I think your whole home can become a museum. And I could stay here for years looking through some of this stuff. Perry, you showed me, a portion of your stuff, and 90% of the stuff that you showed me, I've never seen before. You have such unbelievable preserved items that pertain to the history of Bruce Lee, from your checks to your programs that he did demonstrations at that you have signed. I mean, you met a lot of the Lee family. You met a lot of the first generation students. I mean, your Bruce Lee story is just remarkable. How did that all happen? How did you meet Linda Lee and Shannon Lee in the beginning? How did that come about?
Well, you got to remember, I'm a dinosaur in the Bruce Lee collecting world. Some of these people I can't remember how I met them. I think I met Linda through Taki.
Oh, okay.
Because I was training with Taki back in the 70s after Bruce passed away.
Okay.
And Linda would come and visit Taki. And because I was so close to Taki,
got you.
He would always say, "Hey, Linda's in town. You want to meet her?" So I said, "Yeah, sure." So
you were able to meet Linda that way, and then you eventually met Shannon Lee.
Right. And then, when they decided to put together the Bruce Lee nucleus, I met all the people that were connected to Bruce, all the people that trained under Bruce.
Yeah. Wow. Because you were one of the founders of the nucleus at the time. You sat on the board.
I'm a board member, not a nucleus.
Right, you weren't a nucleus member, you were a board member.
Yeah, board member.
But still, even to be connected to those Bruce Lee and Brandon Lee memorial banquets, I mean, that's something, because there you met all the first generation students, you met, all the family members that would come through the meetings. What a fascinating career that was for you.
Yeah, working with the foundation, what I did was I provided an exhibit whenever they had anniversaries, seminars. I try to set up a venue for them, find a restaurant to have the gathering afterwards. So that was a lot of what my job was with the foundation. Yeah.
I mean, you asked me an interesting question when I first came into your home. You said, of all the collections that you've seen, through all the collectors you've interviewed, what were the most intriguing collectibles that you came across? And it took me a little while to kind of come up with just a handful, because almost all the collectors kind of collect the same thing. Kung Fu monthly poster magazines, Inside Kung Fu, Black Belt magazines, the movie posters, the press kits, the lobby cards. So we all have those, right? But there was a few interesting items that some collectors have. I know Hector has the nunchucks that he got from you, that was from George Lee, right? Made, which I thought was an incredible collectible. And he also obtained the business, one of Bruce Lee's cards, where he used to write in his own handwriting the days and times that someone would attend his school, and I thought that was a beautiful collectible. And now I know Elias Bosch, who's here today with us, which we'll introduce in a minute, and Roberto Sanchez, but he owns that now, because Hector shared it with one of our brothers, and now Elias owns that. But it's hard to really point out those kind of intricate items, because they're so hard to get, first of all. But when I came to your place today, I mean, you showed me dozens of items that I never even knew existed. I mean, again, you're collecting 60 years, and you've curated that over the last 60 years. If I were to ask you, what would you consider your top 3 items that mean the most to Perry Lee right now? What would those 3 items be?
Well, I'm pretty partial to my 2 pieces of training equipment.
All right.
That Bruce Lee practiced on. Probably the 18 business cards. Those seems to be the thing that everybody is trying to talk me out of selling to them. And probably my Green Hornet collection. Yeah, those 3 things.
Wow. Well, the training device is, I mean, that's one of a kind, right? And that's in the museum now. That's where he used to practice the straight punch on, right? And the head used to move back, which I'll show pictures of in this. And then, your Green Hornet collection is second to none. I mean, 135 licensed items. I've never even seen 90% of these items before, and I own like maybe 30 at home, and I think that's a nice collection. But coming in here and seeing 4 times that, I want to go out and get all these now and start hunting them down. They're so beautiful.
People can only collect what's available to them and what's affordable. A lot of martial arts people and collectors don't have a lot of money. A lot of these personal items have gotten to the point where it's not in the hands of collectors, it's in the hands of investors. And that's the sad thing about Bruce Lee collecting right now. Is that anything that's authentic or original, collectors are buying it up and turning around and trying to resell it. So, real hardcore Bruce Lee collectors really can't afford any of this stuff.
Right.
You know, and Green Hornet toys are almost impossible to find in mint condition.
Yeah.
These toys were not meant to be collected; they meant to be played with.
Yeah, yeah.
You know,
I mean,
I'm even amazed that they're in the condition they are.
Oh, I'm telling you, I look online on eBay and try to find these, and I just can't find them in this kind of condition that you have here. I guess they've been in your collection for years and years and years now, right? Mm-hmm. And you certainly know how to preserve your items here.
Yeah.
So you showed me a check also, which I just fell in love with. That was signed by Bruce Lee, and it was made out to James Lee.
Right.
And then he actually signed the back of the check. So you have James Lee's signature, who's a really connected piece of history to Bruce Lee, and Bruce Lee's signature on it. That was the most beautiful check I've ever seen. And then, what was the other part on the check? It was
Chip Fan Jit Kune Institute.
Institute.
Right. And the address was in James Lee's house. That's the address of his house. And Bruce used to train in the garage. That's the first time that Bruce Lee established a checking account.
Yeah.
And the first time that he had a partnership with somebody.
Wow.
Which was James. You know, he had a school with Taki up here, but he actually was in partnership with James down there in Oakland.
In Oakland.
Yeah.
Yeah. Wow. He really got around. You know, I've spoken to a lot of collectors, like I said, and you know, they always ask the same question. That, you know, people who start accumulating 2,000-3,000 items on Bruce Lee, you always wonder, you know, what you're going to do with these items as we get older. You know, I know if Roberto's asked me that, now I'm thinking about it, and Elijah's thinking about it, and Hector's thinking about it. You know, some collectors say, I would love to see where I could put all my items in a museum, but I don't know what I'm going to do with my collection. And it's so hard to part with these, but you started parting with them over the last, 10 years? You started parting?
About the last 5 or 6 years, I really made a concerted effort to get rid of a lot of the stuff that I have. It's really time for somebody else to enjoy it.
Is that what it is?
There's just way too much stuff out there that relates to Bruce. And to me, some of the stuff has no meaning to Bruce. Mm-hmm. You have Bruce Lee phone cards, Bruce Lee lighters, Bruce Lee bomber jackets, Bruce Lee skateboards. Yeah. It doesn't mean anything to me anymore. You know, at the beginning, you know, back in the 80s, you know, you look for anything with Bruce Lee.
Yeah.
It was something unusual. Now, with technology the way it is, you can put his image on anything. You could put his image on an oven mitt. You can put his image on a toaster. It's gotten to be
I
too
see
ridiculous.
light shades now with his image, keychains. I see shower curtains. I see stocks. Everything.
Everything you can
The connection is lost now. It's not like
the
vintage finds you had in the 70s and 80s when there was more of a...
You got Bruce Lee on a Boeing 747.
Yeah.
You got Bruce Lee on an Audi car. You got Bruce Lee on a double-decker bus.
And there's no connection
No connection to it at all. I mean, they just keep coming out more and more stuff.
Yeah.
It's meaningless.
Yeah. So all those trinkets you decided to start selling off, right? In the heyday, if you were to put a number of the amount of items, if you counted up every item in your collection, every photo, every poster, every trinket, how many items would you say at one point, at the peak of your collection, did you amass? Is it 10,000? Is it 20,000? Is it...
realistic, probably about between 8 to 10,000.
Yeah, items.
Yeah, just there was just so much stuff out there. You know, when you look at, you know, the magazines, you know, the photos, posters, lobby cards. It's ridiculous.
Yeah, it is. So you're saying you had about 8 to 10,000 items. Yeah. I think I tried counting all my items one day. You know, back in the day, people used to ask me, Charles, I'd like to see your collection. I said, I can't show you unless you come to my house. I have, you know, thousands of items here. So I started putting all these catalog books together. And I put together 8 books, and it took me 3 years. And I would take photos of every one of my collectibles, put them in a chronological order when they came out, from the 60s and 70s and 80s and 90s. And I think after 8 magazines, I had about 3,500 items in all my books. And that's counting every photo, every poster, every lobby card. And I didn't even finish. I just couldn't do it. I couldn't keep up with it anymore. It just becomes overwhelming after a while. So, I mean, 8 to 10,000 items is a lot of items.
And that depends if you're counting each single item. If you're looking at maybe a set of sticker cards, a set of playing cards.
Which have 44 cards.
Yeah, are you counting each card, or are you counting the set?
Each card.
Yeah.
Yeah, so they could go into the thousands.
I mean, I got so much stuff I don't even know what I got. And I think that's true of any big collector. You really kind of lose track of what you have.
Yeah.
You don't even know where it is. You kind of know you have it, but you don't know where it is.
Yeah, I wanted to bring up Harry McKenzie real quick because I told him that I would chat with you about him because I know he became a friend of yours and he's been a friend of mine for over 30 years now. And he's a Bruce Lee collector out of South Carolina. And he gives you credit for helping him build his personal collection on Bruce Lee. And he wanted me to thank you for, helping him build his collection. And he, just as I was flying here today, he was texting me and he said, over the last 28 years of knowing Perry, I picked up 14 personal items from business cards to membership cards to, some really nice items, envelopes of Bruce Lee's and stationery. You've had letters that you've given him that he purchased for you, and he wanted me to thank you for that because he said everything you give him was always top notch, great condition, and you remember giving him all that stuff over the years?
Well, over 60 years of collecting, I acquired duplicates of a lot of items, and I did sell Harry a lot of my duplicate business cards. And even items that are one of a kind, Harry's been able to talk me out of it. So
yeah, he's a big collector, man, and he loves the amount of items and the actual items he bought from you because a lot of them are just. He bought the first, philosophical guard of Kung Fu, the first book from you, I think last year, and he just loves it. And he told me it's in great condition. Yeah. And I think he got the Black Belt magazine from you, the 67 and the 71 from you, and that red program guide. I mean, what can you tell us about that Bruce used to make in? Is that the program guide he would give out in his school to his students?
Yeah, it's actually that's a reprint of a lot of articles that were written in Black Belt, believe it or not.
That he put into this program guide, and he would give it out to the students to kind of promote him and his art and what he's doing to add credibility to what he was all about.
Right.
That's a beautiful piece. Yeah. You still have one in your collection?
No.
No. So
I let it go.
You let it go.
I have let a lot of my one of a kind
go.
There's certain people that I just want to have certain parts of my collection. Like Josh Gomez is a big Ruby Chow collector.
Yes.
And I just feel that certain pieces of my Ruby Chow items, I'd rather have it in his collection and in somebody else's collection. Whether, money to me is not that important. I'd rather see it go to somebody who's, cherish it as much as I did.
Yeah, I got you.
Yeah.
And then how did you part with the nunchucks that Hector Martinez has? He just loves those. That George. How did you get them from George Lee first of all?
Well, I met George.
He was the master builder for Bruce Lee, right? Who made all this.
George made a lot of nunchuck.
Yeah.
But they're just replicas. And I bought a couple pairs from him, and so Hector wanted a pair, and I told him we can have it for what I paid for.
Yeah. But he didn't make that many of them. I mean, there was only a certain amount he made, so they're pretty hard to find. I mean, I've never seen another pair of nunchucks.
He actually did make quite a few.
Okay.
More than a couple, just like the tombstone.
Yeah.
There's probably anywhere from 8 to 10 tombstones out there.
Okay. That's what I heard about. Yeah.
George made.
Yeah. Still not that many though. In the scheme of things, to have it be made by George Lee is pretty nice. Wow. So, what's the end game for Perry Lee? I mean, you've been starting to sell off a lot of your collectibles. You still have a massive amount of collectibles. I know Roberto Sanchez is going to take a few collectibles off your hand today. You ready to pack those up?
I'm dizzy, man.
Yeah, I'm dizzy too, man.
Well, it pains me to part with my collection, but I'm 78 years old right now, and my sons don't want my collection, and they keep telling me, you need to get rid of it, Dad. We don't know what to do with it. So like I told Roberto and you, just put it this way, as the years go by, it becomes a little easier for me to sell.
Got ya.
Yeah.
And so you just feel like there's a point in your life where you just feel ready to part with these things?
Yeah.
Is it still difficult though? Or
it's very difficult.
It's very difficult.
Yeah, it's very hard for me to part with any of this stuff.
Yeah.
I think back and going, God, I wish I held on to it. But, I just have to let it go.
Yeah.
Today would be a good day for that.
It would be a good day to let some things go, right? Oh, man. Rudy Lambs came to that point as well. Rudy Lambs, I mean, big collector.
Yeah.
And, he had teaching JKD for years, had some health issues, and I went to his house one day, and I mean, it was, similar to yours, but not as many personal items, but just the amount was overwhelming, and he felt like you. He just said, hey, it's just time to let other people enjoy what I had, and now
you're not gonna be able to move some of this stuff. People are not into collecting Bruce Lee T-shirts, photos now. People can make copies of it, take it off the internet.
Yeah.
When you think about it, it's not that easy to get rid of your collection.
No.
Hector's gonna find that's gonna be very hard for him to get rid of a lot of his multiple duplicate action figures. When you think about who really wants it, you can go to eBay and find somebody who's desperate and buy some of the
it is getting more and more difficult to sell these items.
It is,
and I think more of the investments going into the personal items that you own now, those still seem to hold some value. Recently there was an auction where one of Bruce Lee's signatures, what was that book that was sold for auction for $96,000?
Gung Fu.
A Gung Fu book that was signed right inside by by Bruce Lee, and it was made out to one of his students, right, Richard Castillo, right, and it went for $96,000. It got into a bidding war.
And that didn't count the buyer's fee.
Right.
They add that to it.
So well over $100,000. So I mean, personal items still demand a good amount. I mean, people will seem, especially these investors, like you said, now want to look at it more as an investment.
But is it collectors that are buying it, or is it investors?
Right, that are buying it. Yeah, that's so true. So true. Well, this is I'm kind of exhausted from our day here today, man. We had the best time, and I want to thank you first of all for lunch. Lunch was great.
Thank you.
We ate in Tai Tong with Roberto Sanchez and Elias. Come in for you guys a minute. We took a trip out here to see you, and you welcomed us into your home, so I want to thank you for that. This was really an honor to finally meet you. I'm surprised it took me so long to actually interview you and find out your background, but Roberto.
Also, too, you had an extra bonus. You saw the Bruce Lee statue.
Oh yes.
Oh my God!
Oh my God! What do you want to say about that, man?
Listen, man, the stuff that I've seen today is just incredible. I was prepared.
Stay tuned for part 3 as we continue our exclusive Bruce Lee interview with top collector Perry Lee. Share more of Perry Lee's incredible Bruce Lee collection. Have more discussions around the Bruce Lee statue. And then join us as we visit and pay our respects at Bruce and Brandon Lee's gravesite. Then afterwards, Perry Lee takes us on a historical Bruce Lee tour through Seattle, visiting Ruby Chow's restaurant, the garage where he practiced his Gung Fu with his early students, the columns at the University of Washington, and much, much more coming soon.